Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ajnana Timirandhasya, Jnananjana Shalakaya, Chakshurun Milidam Yena, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Amriteshwaryaye Namaha. Om Amriteshwaryaye Namaha. Om Amriteshwaryaye Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We'll begin. Om Amriteshwaryaye Namaha. We'll begin with a short meditation. Kindly sit straight and make sure your vertebral column, spinal column is here, right? Slowly close your eyes. Try to bring your awareness from the external to the internal by focusing on your breath, breathing normally, but with full awareness of each and every inhalation and exhalation that passes through your body. As you watch your breath, you will also feel the relaxation and feel relaxation very slowly, and after some time feel completely relaxed. Now we'll chant the Omkara mantra 3 times. And as we chant Om, imagine the sound of Om to arise deep within, emanating from your navel area, and feel the vibrations as it comes up through your spine, cleansing your body, your mind, and as it comes out, the atmosphere around you. Now kindly take a deep breath. Feel the reverberations of Om in each and every part of your body. Now as you breathe in, chant the mantra Ma silently along with your in-breath, and Om when you breathe out. Ma is a representation of divine love, and Om of divine light. You need not visualize love and light, but just feel your heart being filled with that divine love and light as you chant Ma and Om. Continue like that for some time. Slowly and slowly the reverberations of Ma and Om become more and more subtle. And just feel the vibrations of Ma and Om. And feel your heart being filled with that divine love and light. Imagine your heart being filled and full of love and light. And visualize that light going out from your heart as it expands and it becomes like a bud that blossoms into a beautiful flower. Now visualize the light going out from your heart to all the beings in the world, just like the rays of the sun. And as the light falls on each and every being, visualize they also become more loving, more peaceful, more content. And also blissful. While imagining so, we'll chant the Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu mantra 9 times. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. 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 Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Dhyayamo Dhablavagundhanavatim Tejomayim Nashtikim Nigdha Pangavilokinim Bhagavadim Mandasmidashri Mukhim Valsalyamritavarshinim Sumadhuram Sangeetanaalapinim Shamangim Madhusikta Suktim Amritanandatmikam Ishwarim Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Parambara Sruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Logashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Bhadarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavandau Punah Punaha Ishwarau Guriragmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Om Amriteshwariyai Namaha Om Amriteshwariyai Namaha Om Amriteshwariyai Namaha. There was a long prologue about the different aspects of devotion as well as bhakti, and what is the difference between the bhakti of an ordinary jiva, a being, versus that of a realized soul. And we saw that once we have different types of bhaktis for the ordinary soul, whereas when we transcend that, all those stages, and once when you become realized, or when the soul becomes realized, the bhakti that emanates is not the same as which the ordinary jivas or the souls exude. And that's very important in the story of Lord Krishna to understand. Otherwise, it's very easy to misunderstand the whole life of Lord Krishna. As you know, in the beginning, he was dancing and singing with the gopis. Of course, he was only around 10 years old, or 8 to 10 years old at that time. And afterwards, when he went to Mathura, he killing his uncle, which may deem to be adharmic, then the other episodes of his life, which cannot be really logically understood and can be misinterpreted in 1,000 ways. So that's why the author was giving such a long prologue about why we should look at the aspects of different bhakti as well as the actions of great avatars like Lord Krishna. And definitely we cannot judge. One of the things is that all we see is just like the tip of the iceberg. We see only 10% of what they do, and 90% is unseen. So we are already judging or having a preconceived judgment. And so with that preconceived judgment, we are looking at the actions of the great people like Krishna or Amma. And sometimes what they do seem to be adharmic. Sometimes they seem to be, it's not going according to the norms of the society. As you can see, in Amma's case, first of all, hugging when she was so young. And of course, she was hugging people from every age, every status, and she did not differentiate that. But in a society which is very conservative, as you can see that where she was born and brought up in Kerala. In those days, couples did not even hold hands in the public. So Amma started hugging people, and that too she was unmarried, and she was, of course, she was doing in broad daylight in front of everyone. She was not doing it secretly, also, but the fact that it caused so much of an upheaval, and because people did not understand at that time what she was doing, and now, now her hug is worth $1 million or more. Yeah. Now people understand. Now people understand what she's doing. So it's totally different, and so we can see that the difference, and the transparency of what her actions is much more, uh, bright right now, and which can be seen in the case of the people right now, and you cannot judge uh, such Mahatmas. And later on, as we can also say, the actions of Amma, like for instance, making women as the priests in the temple. That was another uncommon thing. Then the other thing was Amma installed the idol in the temples, and also a lot of the women were asked to do many things which normally men would do, and so it went beyond and above the norms of the society, and it might seem to be revolutionary, but that whatever they do, that is dharma. They, of course, they won't enact adharma or practices which are against the rules of dharma. So we cannot judge them from their actions, because we, first of all, as I said, we don't understand that, and secondly, those actions are above the understanding of a common man's intellect and logic, and may seem to be totally illogical as well. So that's why in this life of Lord Krishna also, many of these stories, if you don't interpret it by looking at the eyes of bhakti and ultimate bhakti, then totally, it can be completely misinterpreted. And that's why people ask, this question: why did Lord Krishna dance with the gopis, and what a life he had, and then the stealing of the clothes of the gopis while they were taking bath. All these stories can be completely misinterpreted. And so we have to look at it from, as I said, from the eyes of a bhakta, a devotee, to understand these things. And one has to become to that, or has to elevate to that level to understand at least a little bit of their actions. We said that's what is called the para bhakti, that is the ultimate bhakti. So without which we cannot even transcend the thoughts of an ordinary human being. So from that we saw that the next one was how the life of Lord Krishna is being unfolded in this chapter, and which is Skanda. The whole Skanda is dedicated to the life of Lord Krishna alone. And we saw that it was King Parikshit who was listening to the stories enunciated by sage Shuka, and in the banks of Ganges. And as you remember the story, he was to be bitten by Takshaka, the serpent, in 7 days, and he was about to die, and he's listening to the stories. And King Parikshit is telling Shuka, asking all these questions about what is the how is the life of Lord Krishna, and so he asked different questions, like why the Lord Creator and the indweller of all that exists during the what did he do during his descent in the line of Yadu, and the other thing is he was asking this. It was the board of his feet, that is Lord Krishna's feet, that enabled my ancestors, the sons of Pandu, to cross the utmost east, as if it were only a calf's hoof puddle, the mighty ocean of the Kaurava army, and where there were great whales like Bhishma, who were victors of even Devas. And then he was also asking, how did the Lord, who entering armed with his discus into the womb of my mother, so that's how he was saved. A refuge at his feet saved me, the sole seed of the tree of the Pandava, and whose body had been scorched by the Brahma missile. So then he was asking all these different questions, and when Sri Shuka heard that, he said, "O greatest amongst Raja Rishis, your intelligence has turned in the right direction. Why? Because you have turned your whole mind into listening to the unflagging delight in narratives concerning the Lord's doings." And so Sri Shuka was saying, just as the Ganga that flows from his feet purifies everything, so also the questions about the Lord purify all three. One is who puts the questions, who he answers them, and those who happen to listen to the answers. So that is the beauty of satsang. So when you ask a question to Amma, that is a process of purification also. That doesn't mean that you have to go and ask 1,000 questions to Amma, thinking that you'll get purified faster. That's not the point. But if you ask the apt question, so what is the question you have to ask Amma? Most of us go and ask Amma, I have a headache, I have body ache, I have this problem, that problem, I didn't get a job, I don't have a husband or wife. Then once you have a husband and wife, oh Amma, please, take away my husband or wife. So all these problems that come. I'm just kidding. I'm not serious. Though I'm telling the truth. And I can tell the truth because I'm not married. So these we go with these questions to Amma. Those are not purifying questions. When we ask truly spiritual questions to Amma, that's why when Amma speaks about those questions, and so it purifies us. And of course, it doesn't have to purify Amma, but it purifies the listeners also. So he was saying that when Lord Shuka was saying that, this is the best question you asked, and you are asking me about the Lord. So he was saying the earth deity felt oppressed, and then by the huge armies of asuras, and they were disguised as violent and haughty kings, which we can understand now. And so then the Mother Earth, assuming the form of a cow, when crying piteously to Brahma, and Brahma along with the earth deity and the Devas, they accompanied to Parameshwara, Lord Shiva, and who also accompanied them to the shores of the Milky Ocean, which was the abode of Lord Mahavishnu. So then there Brahma was repeating the Purusha Sukta, which is in praise of Lord Mahavishnu, and he invoked the Supreme Being, and then in his meditation, Lord Brahma heard a message with his heart, and he communicated to the Devas as follows, that the Lord is already acquainted with the misery of the earth deity as well as other people. So he is going to manifest on earth to lighten the burden of the earth by the exercise of his power known as all-consuming time. So you have to be, and then he said the Devas have to be born on earth among the Yadus, which is the clan of Lord Sri Krishna, and with parts of your being, and be his helpers as he remains on earth. So then it was done like that. So then we go on to the marriage of Devaki and Vasudeva. So as the wedding ceremony was over, Kamsa, who was the son of Ugrasena, the king of Mathura. So what he did was he was taking Devaki and Vasudeva on a chariot, and as he was leading the procession, suddenly he heard a sound coming from the heaven or up in the air that Devaki's eighth son will kill him. So suddenly when he heard that, he felt so much fear that he jumped up and he thought of killing Devaki right away. So then what happened was, so he dragged his sister by the hair, ready to strike her. And so Vasudeva, who was a very noble and high soul, tried to comfort Kamsa by asking these questions to him first. And he said, how can you think of killing your own sister? And that too at the time of marriage festival. And so the beauty about Bhagavata is that there is so much of Vedanta also mixed with these stories, which many people forget. So they introduce these Vedantic points in between while narrating these stories through the characters. So here, Vasudeva is talking about death, and he's telling Kamsa, you have enhanced the fame of the Bhojas, the clan of Bhojas. And he says to him, "O hero, death is certain for everyone born, and it is born with the body itself. It may come today or 100 years, but it is certain." So, death, when we get the body, one thing, as Amma says, one thing is guaranteed. Only one thing, that is death. And nothing else is guaranteed. And the question is when. And when he says when death is imminent, the soul who is helpless under the domination of his previous karmas leaves the old body on the attainment of a new one. Just as a walker takes off his back leg only when he has firmly fixed his forward leg on the ground, and just as the creeping worm, that is like the caterpillar, takes off its posterior part only when the anterior portion has been fixed, so does the jiva subject to karma behave. And ruminating over what one had been experiencing earlier through sight and hearing, a dreamer gets a dream body based on these thoughts, and thereupon forgets his waking body due to the identification with the dream body. Similarly too, in the case of with a man engrossed in deep reverie, the phenomenon of death is analogous to this. When the soul gets identification with the body born of its own karma, he loses identification with the old one, which is said to die. So this is, many people ask this question, right? How come you don't remember all the karmas that all the or the relationships from your past birth? So this is very clearly said that, like for example, when you dream, you're in a dream body, and when you wake up after some time, many a times we don't remember the dream, and even if we remember the dream, after some time we forget it. So is the case with this soul that passes from one body to another body. What happens is the identification changes. The identification changes when the new body is attained. So in one birth, you might have been the son of so and so, or the husband of so and so, wife of so and so, but in the next one, you are a husband of somebody else, or if your parents are different, your the relatives are different, and your friends are different. You are born in a totally different setting, maybe also. So that's why you de-identified with the previous body, and you get identification with the present body. So that's how you forget the past karmas. In one way, it is good, as some person asked a saint once, why can't I remember all my relatives from the past, all my friends and my relatives from the past? So the saint replied, look, in this life itself, you have a father, you have a mother, you have a husband or wife, and you have children. And the other thing is also, there are so many relatives. And if you remember your past birth, there might be thousands of relatives. And that plus also your uncle who was in your past birth might be now born as a son, or your father must be born as a son, or mother would have been born as a daughter. And so you will completely get confused as to who is who. And the other problem is, sometimes the person who killed you in the last birth is being born in the same family. So, what will you do? Or your enemy, worst enemy, would have been born as your wife. So, what will you do? So, what happens is, in that case, you cannot react the same way that you would have reacted in the previous birth. So, what you have to understand is, so the saint was saying that it's better to forget what happened in the previous births rather than to remember them, because it's already confusing in this birth itself, plus you might think about all the other relationships also. And he says so that's so here what is happening is the identification changes, just like the identification with the dream body versus the identification with the the body in the wakeful state. So the soul, fed by feelings and prompted by the tendencies generated by his past karma, runs after and gets identification with a new body formed with the 5 elements by the power of Maya. It is then said to be born with those qualities. I was not joking, but it is really said in the scriptures, your enemies, worst enemies, are sometimes born as your children and your parents also. So, so it is to, get over that enmity and to also to repay all the karmas that which you might have given to them in the last birth. So you're getting it back, or you are loving them, so and changing that karma. So it is said like that also. So he says that uh, then the new body, it gets the which is formed of the 5 elements, and the images of the sun and moon reflected in vessels full of water are seen to move according to the movements of the water caused by the wind. So, in the same way, out of identification with the acquired body, a product of the Lord's power, the jiva falls into infatuation, which makes the man think of the experiences of the body as his own. So, there is, the wrong identification. And in the Vedanta, it talks about it. We should have been identified with the soul. But what happens is saying that just like, when you put a vessel out and there is a wind blowing on the vessel, and there is a reflection of either the sun or the moon, and the wind causes the water to move, which makes the reflection of the sun and the moon move, which makes you think that the sun is moving or the moon is moving. So this is a similar case with us, the wrong identification. Therefore, a man who thinks about his own welfare should never do harm to others. And those who do so will suffer from retaliation by others here and from Yama in the hereafter. So that's why he's saying that, look, you should do the right things and dharmic things, and you should never harm anybody. And if so, then the karma will follow you. As they say, if suppose, one of the saints were asked this question, how does karma know that it was me who did it, right? And you can escape, because there are thousands of people who have done thousands of karmas, and which karma should go to which person, how is it ordained? So the saint, one of the saints beautifully explained it. Imagine there are 100 cows standing, and the calf now coming to go to its mother. Will it go to the wrong cow? It knows its calf, its mother, and the mother knows its calf also. So similarly, whatever karma we did, the karma knows and it will come to us at the right time. So there is no escape. So that's why it is said to do the right things. And not only that, he's saying that also we get it from Yama, like Saint Peter, has a whole computer full of what we have done and what we haven't done. So here is this girl, your own sister, sorrow-stricken and helpless like a dove. And it is unbecoming of you, a compassionate person, to think of killing this innocent creature. And Sri Shuka said, in spite of these words of conciliation and warning, Kamsa, cruel by nature and subservient to asuric qualities, did not desist from his evil resolution. So as the saying goes, you're chanting Veda in the ears of a water buffalo. What happens? Then, it just goes out through one ear and comes out through the other ear. And the water buffalo does not understand anything. So was also Kamsa, could not understand any of the things that which Vasudeva was saying. And so now Vasudeva, who is very intelligent, now changes his stand. So finding him adamant in his resolve, Vasudeva, after deep reflection over the situation, adopted another means of averting the imminent murder. He reflected, death can sometimes be averted by a discriminating man by the exercise of his intelligence and prowess. If such efforts fail in the end, no blame rests on the person concerned. So by promising to give
the future children to be born of her to death, that is for Kamsa to kill, I shall try to save her life now. Well, that is, if any children are to be born to me, and if death is going to be alive till then, that is, Kamsa is going to be alive until then. So he's very intelligent. He says that, look, at certain times, we can avoid death. We don't have to walk in the middle of highway. Or we don't have to drive a car which is already has some problems or complaints. And what is going to happen. So you by intelligent actions you can overcome death. Now, of course, but there are times when death has to happen, and if it is ordained to happen, then it will happen. So he's saying you can always change it. So now he's changing his the way he's speaking to Kamsa, and he says, maybe I can change his mind by promising to give the children to him. It is said that the 8th child. So it's the 8th child, right? So you can give the children to Kamsa, and maybe Kamsa may not be alive at that point. So he says, why should not the contrary happen? Why not a child be born to her and that child kill this Kamsa? For God's decrees cannot be overcome by anyone. Anyway, let us escape from death that faces us now. If death has now been averted, comes afterwards, it will be none of my fault. So he's talking about his dharma. And he's saying, definitely, if it is a divine will, and if the 8th child has to kill Kamsa, he will, no matter. But I can try to avoid Devaki's death right now. So he says, in a forest fire, why some trees are burnt, while others near them are left intact, is a mystery for which there is no explanation. And in the same way, it is very difficult to find out a cause to explain the birth and death of living beings. And reflecting like this, to the extent of his intellectual powers would allow, Vasudeva saluted that wicked Kamsa with much show of respect. So he has totally changed his stance now. And so now he's showing so much respect, and that is one way of dealing with the demons or asuras. How do you tell them what to do? So you praise them, you blow up their ego, then they suddenly become egoistic, and then they will completely forget about the situation. So that's why he's showing so much of reverence. And weeping with him, but putting on a joyous and smiling face, he said as follows to that most heinous and shameless man. Vasudeva said, O dear one, there shall be no cause of fear from her, for you, as the ethereal voice has suggested, I shall hand over to you all her children, from one of whom it is that you are threatened with death. And Sri Shuka said, Kamsa, appreciating these words of Vasudeva, desisted from the slaughter of his sister Devaki. And Vasudeva was quite happy with the success of his plan, praised Kamsa, and returned to his home. So that worked. So always that works. When you praise the person and make their ego go up, then of course they will fall for it. And in time, Devaki, who had in her a concentration of divine forces, delivered 8 sons and a daughter in as many years. As sorrow-stricken yet fearful of untruth, Vasudeva presented his firstborn Kirtiman to Kamsa. So the first child was born, and he went and presented the child to Kamsa as he had promised. So what is there impossible for a wise man to bear? What is there for which a learned one will crave? What heinous act is there that the wicked cannot do? And what object is there that a person established in the Atman cannot give up? And impressed by Vasudeva's truthfulness and by his equanimity of mind, in favorable and adverse situations alike, Kamsa was very much pleased with him and said, "Let this child be taken back. He poses no danger to me. It is only from your eighth child that I am destined to die." So, accepting this concession, Vasudeva returned home with the child, though in no way reassured by the words of an evil man like Kamsa, a slave to his senses. So, in one sense, that is the meaning of asura. Sura means one who's, who's a high-souled one, but who's not indulging in pleasures. So asura means the opposite, that one who indulges in all the sense pleasures. So that's why he's saying that you can never trust a person who is an asura, means one who is indulging too much in sense pleasures, because his mind can change any moment. But in this case, Kamsa said, okay, you take the child, because it's only the eighth child has been said to kill Kamsa. So Kamsa said, oh, this child does not pose any threat to me, so take it back. But what happened? In the meanwhile, our great sage, Narada, went to Kamsa's palace and gave him the following warning. The cowherds inhabiting the cowherd settlement under Nanda and their women folk, the men and the women of Yadava clan like Vasudeva and Devaki, these and most of the members of those clans who pass for relatives and dependents of Kamsa are devas in disguise. And they all form a part of the conspiracy that has been hatched by the devas for the destruction of the asuras who have come who have become a burden to the earth. So now Narada goes and does his usual thing. So he has to do his work. So he goes to Kamsa and says, all those people whom you think, Vasudeva, Devaki, and the whole of the Yadavas, what happened? They are all devas who are in disguise, and they have come to kill you. All of them have to come to destroy you, the asuras. So then it's also here, they don't say that, but in another interpretation of the Bhagavatam, they say, Narada said to Kamsa, he said that eighth child, right? And eighth child is supposed to kill you. So you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or you can count 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So that also eighth child, right? The first child is the eighth child. So you can count it in reverse also. So he says, how do you know? He's asking Kamsa, how do you know which is the eighth child? So Kamsa gets terribly confused and mad. But there is when we talk about Narada, sage Narada, it's confusing. And while he does all his tricks and does all his things like this, many ask this question, like, why is he doing like this? Isn't it adharmic to do that? So in the book of, there is another book called, in the Vishnu Parva, it's written that these 6 unborn children were the sons of the demon Kalanemi. And they performed intense austerities to worship the Lord Brahma, which was unknown to their own grandfather, Hiranyakashipu. So Kalanemi was the son of Hiranyakashipu. And Brahma, being satisfied with their extreme penances, granted them the boon of protection from death according to their prayers. And later, when Hiranyakashipu heard about this incident, that they had done so much penance and got the boon from Brahma, he became enraged. And he said, you have worshipped Brahma without letting me know. Because what was Hiranyakashipu's order? That everyone should only worship Hiranyakashipu, nobody else. So that was the problem. So he got so angry, and that's why he said, "You have worshipped Brahma, and and thus I have no affection for such impudent people such as you, and your father himself will kill all of you." So it was Kalanemi, the demon who was born as Kamsa. So that's why it is ordained that Kamsa should kill all the 6 children. So that's why he's saying that your father himself will kill all of you. And in your next life, all 6 of you will take birth in the womb of Devaki, and your father Kalanemi will be born as Kamsa. And that very Kamsa will be your murderer. And due to this curse of Hiranyakashipu, they took birth in the womb of Devaki and were killed by Kamsa, the incarnation of Kalanemi. So we have to understand this whole process, without which, which we cannot, which we will be blaming Sage Narada. So Sage Narada was enacting a drama which has to go according to the divine plans only. So whenever it doesn't go according to the divine plans, that's when Sage Narada intervenes and comes as a one of the people who creates a lot of troubles. So that's we think like that, but Sage Narada has to enact this drama so that the divine plans will go, or the people, the characters will act according to the divine plans. So when Kamsa heard this, he began to view the Yadus as Devas, that is, as his enemies. He had Devaki and Vasudeva chained and imprisoned in a cell and began to kill all their issue at birth itself, suspecting them to be impersonations of Vishnu. So now he wanted to kill every child because he doesn't know which is the 8th one. He might forget the count, or he, like Vishnu can come and trick him, or the voice would trick him saying that, oh, it's the 8th child, so you don't have to worry. So which child, sometimes Vishnu might be born as the 4th child and trick him and kill him. So he started killing all the children. And it is quite common in this world for bloodthirsty and greedy kings to kill whomsoever they suspect, including parents, brothers, friends, and well-wishers. So such was the time where they were, the kings were bloodthirsty and they were totally adharmic, and they knew that, whenever there was some kind of danger, they would not hesitate to kill even their own parents or brothers or friends. So, knowing himself to be the great Asura Kalanemi, reborn after being killed by Mahavishnu, Kamsa began to suppress and persecute the Yadavas. A man of great might that he was, he deposed his own father Ugrasena, and overlord of all the Yadavas, and himself assumed the rulership of the territories of Surasena and other clans. So now, what he do was he threw his father out of the throne, put him in the jail, also put him in the prison, and took over the the rulership, and he became the king of and he became the overlord of all this people, and they also took over all the land that Surasena had, and Ugrasena, in Surasena, the territories of Surasena, of which his father Ugrasena was the king of. So now we will go to the next one, which is the advent of, which is the prelude to the advent of Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna. So the powerful Kamsa now started on a regular campaign of suppression of the Yadus, with the backing of his father-in-law Jarasandha, the king of Magadha. And in this, his advisors and accomplices were the following: Pralamba, Bhaga, Chanura, uh, Trinavarta, Aghasura, Mushtika, Arishta, Dvivida, then Keshi, Dhenuka, and the Asura kings like Bana and Narakasura. So all the demons, they joined together, and including his father-in-law, whose name was Jarasandha, one of the kings at that time. And as you know, the at that time, he was married to Jarasandha's sister, and he formed the alliance with all the other demons. So, being persecuted, the Yadavas escaped to the neighboring states like Kuru, Panchala, Kekeya, Salva, Vidarbha, Nishada, Videha, Koshala, etc. So, they all, the Yadus, could not withstand the persecution of the demons which was led by Kamsa. And some of Kamsa's relatives, among them, however, continued to stay in the country serving Kamsa because of the compulsion of the circumstances. And after Kamsa, the son of Ugrasena, had killed the first 6 of Devaki's infants, she bore that manifestation of Vishnu called Ananta, Adishesha, in her 7th pregnancy, which was a cause of delight and fear to her at the same time. So now the 7th child was being impregnated. It's not like she has the child from a physical relationship. In all these things, it is just a divine intervention where the child is being implanted into the womb of Devaki. And so when Adishesha, who later on becomes Balarama, who has come along with Lord Sri Krishna, now he's slowly is coming into the womb of Devaki. And realize in one sense, Devaki was so happy because she could feel the divinity. At the same time, she was unhappy, sad, sorrowful because Kamsa is going to kill that child also. And realizing the precarious predicament of his devotees, the Yadavas, the Lord Mahavishnu, the soul of the universe, commanded his Yogamaya as follows: O Devi, go to Vrija, the cowherd settlement, which is resplendent with the cows and cowherd damsels. There, in the camp of Nanda, has Rohini, the wife of Vasudeva, taken refuge. Not only she, but many others are thus hiding themselves in unknown places out of fear of Kamsa. So Rohini, actually, who's the sister of Nanda, and they have what they have done. They have gone and hidden in Brija, but they have hidden. They are hiding from Kamsa, and not only she, but there are other people also who have hidden from Kamsa. And the Lord says, my spiritual power known as Shesha has entered the womb of Devaki to take embodiment. Transplant him from Devaki to Rohini's womb. And O auspicious one, afterwards I shall by any aspect of mine be born as Devaki's son, and you will be born as the daughter of Yashoda, the wife of Nanda, chief of the cowherd settlement. You will be the mistress of all boon-seeking devotees and the bestower of all boons to them. As such, you will be the recipient of the worship of those devotees with incense, flowers, and food offerings. Men will find places of worship for you in different parts of the earth and invoke you by different names such as Durga, Bhadrakali, Vijaya, Vaishnavi, Kumuda, Chandika, Krishna, Madhavi, Kanyaka, Maya, Narayani, Ishani, Sharada, Ambika, and so on. He, that is the fetus whom Yogamaya is to remove, will be known as Sankarshana because he would be drawn away, means Karshana, from the womb as Rama because he would delight the whole world, and as Bala because of his immense might. Being thus ordered by the Lord, the Devi accepted the mission readily. She reverently circumambulated the Lord, transferred herself to the earth, and accomplished what she was expected to do. On Devi Yogamaya's transplanting the fetus from Devaki's womb into Rohini's, people began to say with sorrow that Devaki's pregnancy has been aborted. So you can see that, in those days itself, as they say, what has been said previously, as ordained by the Lord. Yogamaya, the Devi, which is who holds the power of yoga, she's asked to take the womb, the child, unborn child, from the womb of Devaki and being transplanted into the womb of Rohini. And what happens is, in that process, of course, Yogamaya will be born, transplanted into the womb of Devaki also. So, saying that do like this, and of course, that he also says that people will call you by different names, call you Durga, Kali, all these different names, and worship you in different places, but you will be that one power, the power of Yogamaya. So again, we have to understand that Yogamaya is part and parcel of the Lord. And it's not different from the Lord. So when we talk about the Maya Shakti, it is nothing but the Lord's power only. In the beginning, when I was totally or completely ignorant about these things, I used to think that Maya was the main cause of all these problems and the sorrows. And Maya, you have to fight against Maya as a sadhak, as a spiritual seeker. And Maya is the problem for all these things, which causes misery. So you have to fight against Maya and become victorious. So slowly and slowly I started fighting, but the more I fought, it was like the story of Bali, who was Sugriva's brother. When you fight against Bali, what happens? He has the boon that he can take 1.5 times, half the power of his opponent. So what is, he has 1.5 times of the power of the opponent, whereas the opponent has only half the power. So who is going to win? So I realized this is the problem with Maya. So if you fight against Maya, then of course Maya is going to win. And ultimately, only as a fool, later on I realized that it was nothing but the power of the Lord, which is Amma. Maya is nothing but the power of Amma, the veiling power of Amma. And it is not separate from Amma. And Maya is also in one sense, the subservient to Devi, to Amma. And so, when you are fighting against Maya, you are fighting against the Devi. So who is going to win? And so, The just like in one of the missiles, during the Mahabharata war, uh, when the Brahma missile Astra is sent, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, just bow down. Bow down and don't fight against it. If you fight against it, you will be just gone in a second. Just bow down. And so he obeys Lord Krishna. And then the missile just passes through his head. It does not affect him at all. And similarly, when we tend to respect Maya and understand that it is the power of Devi or it is the power of the Lord, then we have to just bow down and understand that this is nothing but the Leela or the enactment of the play of the Lord, of Amma, the Guru. So Amma can take any form, any time, and create any circumstances. So once you understand that, you just surrender completely. So then, when I slowly started getting that understanding, I stopped my fighting, and that gave me so much relief also, and took me out of stress. So the whole point here is to understand that when we say Maya is our enemy, Maya is all powerful, and we have to fight against Maya, it is just to understand that we cannot fight, first of all. Secondly, to surrender our ego. So the Maya is there to subdue the ego and to make you understand that you cannot do anything. You are just a small blade of grass in front of Maya. And if you fight against it, you are not going to win also. So what do? You just bow down reverently and accept the way how it is. So similarly, many of us, what happens is when we, in our lives, we are fighting against it, against all these experiences which has been given to us. And we are thinking, we want to change it. We don't like it. Some of them we don't like it. Some of them we like it. So we want to change everything, and we want to have those experiences which we only want and which only we like, and the experiences which we don't like, we want to throw it away. We want to fight with it. We want to change it, and we want to do it our way. So ultimately, we have to understand whether we like it or not, everything is going to come at us. Both the things that we like and both with things that we dislike. So we have to accept both of them. Then only we can deal with them with equanimity and understanding that both of them are to refine our mind and to purify our mind, get rid of the ego, and to make us move forward. So this is the power of the Devi, and which comes under the disguise of Maya. And whatever Devi does, whatever Lord does, it is not harmful. It is only to purify us of our past karmas, of our vasanas, and when we accept the way it is, then we can move forward in our spiritual life. So may Amma give us that strength and understanding that the power of Maya is only hers, and we cannot change it. We have to just accept, we can understand, and move forward. May Amma give that blessing. Om Amriteshwari Namah. अमृतरूपिणी मृदुसुभाषिणि अभयदायिनि वन्दनम् अमृतरूपिणी मृदुसुभाषिणि अभयदायिनि
अमृतरूपिणि मृदुसुभाषिणि अभयदायिनि वन्दनम्
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 अभयदायिनि वन्दनम्
अभयदायिनि वन्दनम्
अमृते वन्दनम्
अमृते वन्दनम्
अभयदायिनि वन्दनम्
अभयदायिनि वन्दनम्
जनगणन्दिनि जननिरञ्जिनि जनिविनाशिनि वन्दनम्
जनगणन्दिनि
सुखदं श्यामलकारिणी सकल सुरमुनि विदिशिशिनि सुखद श्यामलमालिनी सुखद श्यामलमालिनी अमृतरूपिणि मृदु सुभाषिणि अभयदायिनि वन्दनम् अमृतरूपिणि मृदु सुभाषिणि अभयदायिनि वन्दनम् अभयदायिनि वन्दनम् अभयदायिनि वन्दनम् प्रकृतिकारिणि दुरितवारिणि प्रणदरक्षगि वन्दनम् प्रकृतिकारिणि दुरितवारिणि प्रणदरक्षगि वन्दनम् प्रकृतिकारिणि दुरितवारिणि प्रणदरक्षगि वन्दनम् प्रकृतिकारिणि दुरितवारिणि प्रणतरक्षति वन्दनम् अमृतवाहिनि जयमहेश्वरि शिवकुटुम्बिनि वन्दनम् शिवकुटुम्बिनि वन्दनम् अमृतवाहिनि जयमहेश्वरि शिवकुटुम्बिनि वन्दनम् शिवकुटुम्बिनि वन्दनम् अमृतरूपिणि मृदुसुभाषिणि अभयदायिनि वन्दनम् अमृतरूपिणि मृदुसुभाषिणि अभयदायिनि वन्दनम् अभयदायिनि वन्दनम् अभयदायिनि वन्दनम् अभयदायिनि वन्दनम् हर सुध अखिल अमंगल हर मुद मंगल दादा आति मुख हसमुख सुंदर चंद्र मुकुर वाला
हर सुध अखिल
सुध अखिल अमंगल हर मुख मंगल दादा आति मुख हस मुख सुंदर चंद्र मुकुर वाला
हर सुध अखिल
पग पग पर बोले विघ्न राज की जय पावे विद्या विश्ववा में गावे शांति गणे
आगे बढ़े पग पग पर बोले विघ्न राज की जय पावे विद्या विजय विश्व में गावे शांति गणे
जय एकदंत की जय जय वक्रतुंड की जय जय विघ्न राज की जय जय विरूप की जय
जय एकदंत की जय जय वक्रतुंड की जय जय विघ्न राज की जय जय दिव्य रूप की जय
तुम्हें वंदन शंकर नंदन सुंदर दंडकाय वंदे
तुम्हें वंदन शंकर नंदन सुंदर दंडिकाय वंदे
कल्मष भंजन करिवदना कर्म बंध हारी
कल्मष भंजन करिवदना कर्म बंध हारी
धवल कलेबर धर्म निकेतन भीम देह धारी श्री वरदानी
धवल कलेबर
वक्रतुंड की जय, जय विघ्नराज की जय, जय दिव्य रूप की जय।
जय वक्रतुंड की जय, जय विघ्नराज की जय, जय दिव्य रूप की जय।
तुम्हें वंदन शंकर नंदन सुंदर दंडकाय वंदे।
तुम्हें वंदन शंकर नंदन सुंदर दंडिकाय वंदे।
विघ्न निवारक स्वेदांबर धर, तू अंतर्यामी।
विघ्न निवारक श्वेतांबर धर, तू अंतर्यामी।
भगत जनावन गणपति शिव सुत, हो प्रसन्न स्वामी। श्री वरदानी।
भगत जनावन गणपति शिव सुत, हो प्रसन्न स्वामी। श्री गणेश वरदानी।
जय एकदंत की जय, जय विक्रतुंड की जय, जय विघ्नराज की जय, जय दिव्य रूप की जय।
जय एकदंत की जय, जय वक्रतुंड की जय, जय विघ्नराज की जय, जय दिव्य रूप की जय।
जय एकदंत की जय, जय वक्रतुंड की जय, जय विघ्नराज की जय, जय दिव्य रूप की जय।
जय एकदंत की जय, जय वक्रतुंड की जय, जय विघ्नराज की जय, जय दिव्य रूप की जय।
जय एकदंत की जय, जय वक्रतुंड की जय, जय विघ्नराज की जय, जय दिव्य रूप की जय।
जय एकदंत की जय, जय वक्रतुंड की जय, जय विघ्नराज की जय, जय दिव्य रूप की जय।
जय दिव्य रूप की जय,
जय दिव्य रूप की जय,
जय दिव्य रूप की जय।
जय दिव्य रूप की जय।
കുമാര വന്ദിത രൂപ വൃന്ദാവന മോഹന മുരളീ ഗാനവിലോല ഗോപി ഹൃദയേശ
നന്ദകുമാര വന്ദിത രൂപ വൃന്ദാവന മോഹന മുരളീ ഗാനവിലോല ഗോപി ഹൃദയേശ
നന്ദകുമാര വന്ദിത രൂപ വൃന്ദാവന മോഹന മുരളീ ഗാനവിലോല ഗോപി ഹൃദയേശ
നന്ദകുമാര വന്ദിത രൂപ വൃന്ദാവന മോഹന മുരളീ ഗാനവിലോല ഗോപി ഹൃദയേശ
ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
ദാനവ ദൈത്യ വിനാശന മാധവ രാസവിലോലുപദേവാ
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 നാരദ തുമ്പുരു സേവിത പാദ നാരായണ ശരണം
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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
ജന്മജരാമൃതി സങ്കടവർജിത സന്തത സുഖകര ശൗരേ
ജന്മജരാമൃതി സങ്കടവർജിത സന്തത സുഖകര ശൗരേ
വിവിധാഭരണ വിമണ്ഡിത ഗാത്ര വിജിതാഖില ഹൃദയാ
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 വിജിതാഖില ഹൃദയാ രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
ഭവധര വാരണ നഗവര ധാരണ മദഹര മുരഹര കൃഷ്ണ
ഭവധര വാരണ നഗവര ധാരണ
ഭാവവിലക്ഷണമായ ജാലവിമോക്ഷണ ഭഗവൻ
ഭാവവിലക്ഷണമായ ജ്ഞാനവിമോക്ഷണ ഭഗവൻ
ഭാവവിലക്ഷണമായ ജാലവിമോക്ഷണ ഭഗവൻ
ഭാവവിലക്ഷണമായ ജ്ഞാനവിമോക്ഷണ ഭഗവൻ
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
കാലപതേ കമലാധിപതേ സുരപാലപതേ പശുജാലപതേ
കാലപതേ കമലാധിപതേ സുരപാലപതേ പശുജാലപതേ
കാലപതേ കമലാധിപതേ സുരപാലപതേ പശുജാലപതേ
കാലപതേ കമലാധിപതേ സുരപാലപതേ പശുജാലപതേ
ഭൂമിപതേ ഭുവനാധിപതേ ജയ സാധുപതേ സകലാധിപതേ
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 ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം 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 രാധേ ശ്യാം ശ്യാം ശ്യാം
हे कृपामयी अम्बे, हे दयामयी देवी,
हे कृपामयी अम्बे, हे दयामयी देवी,
हे कृपामयी अम्बे, हे दयामयी देवी,
हे कृपामयी अम्बे, हे दयामयी देवी।
हम हैं तेरे बच्चे माँ, कृपा तू हम पर करना माँ।
हम हैं तेरे बच्चे माँ, कृपा तू हम पर करना माँ।
हम हैं तेरे बच्चे माँ, कृपा तू हम पर करना माँ।
हम हैं तेरे बच्चे माँ, कृपा तू हम पर करना माँ।
एक यही आशा है माँ,
एक यही आशा है माँ,
एक यही आशा है माँ।
एक यही आशा है माँ।
इसे तू पूरा करना माँ। एक यही आशा है
माँ, इसे तू पूरा करना माँ।
इसे तू पूरा करना माँ। हे कृपामयी अम्बे, हे दयामयी देवी,
हे कृपामयी अम्बे, हे दयामयी देवी।
माँ जय जय माँ, माँ जय जय माँ,
माँ जय जय माँ, माँ जय जय माँ।
माँ जय जय माँ, माँ जय जय माँ,
माँ जय जय माँ, माँ जय जय माँ।
दर्द भरा जीवन है माँ,
दर्द भरा जीवन है माँ,
दर्द भरा जीवन है माँ।
दर्द भरा जीवन है माँ।
दर्द मिटाने वाली तू,
दर्द भरा जीवन है माँ। दर्द मिटाने वाली तू,
जल्दी आकर जीवन में,
जल्दी आकर जीवन में,
जल्दी आकर जीवन में,
जल्दी आकर जीवन में।
बरसाना तू अमृत सदा, जल्दी आकर
जीवन में बरसाना तू अमृत सदा,
बरसाना तू अमृत सदा। हे कृपा
हे दयामयी देवी।
माँ जय जय माँ, माँ
जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ,
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 जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ।
जननी वन्दे अमृतानन्दमयी मङ्गलहारति माधववाणी अमृतानन्दमयी वन्दे जननी अमृतानन्दमयी मादामृतानन्दमयी सकलागम निगमादिषु चरिते अमृतानन्दमयी निखिलमय जननी वन्दे अमृतानन्दमयी मादा अमृतानंदमयी प्रेम भक्ति संदायिनी मादा अमृतानंदमयी मादा समदवदायिनी वलयकारिणी अमृतानंदमयी सदनं मम हृदि वसदा देवी अमृतानंदमयी माता पदिदोद्धार निरंतर हृदये अमृतानंदमयी परमहंस पद निलये देवी अमृतानंदमयी मादा अमृतानंदमयी हे जननी जनिमरण निवारिणी अमृतानंदमयी हे सृज जन परिपालिनी जयदा अमृतानंदमयी मादा अमृतानंदमयी सुरजन पूजित जय जगदम्बा अमृतानंदमयी सहज समाधि सुधन्ये देवी अमृतानंदमयी मादा अमृतानंदमयी मादा अमृतानंदमयी मादा अमृतानंदमयी ओम जय जय जगजननी वंदे अमृतानंदमयी मंगल आरती माता भवानी अमृतानंदमयी माता अमृतानंदमयी माता अमृतानंदमयी। जय बोलो सद्गुरु माता अमृतानंदमयी देवी की असतो मां सद्गमय तमसो मां ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मां अमृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्।